Hey everybody, it's been a while since we came out and did a little garden tour, so I thought I would bring you out here and show you what's going on. As we're going out here, I think I've mentioned before, this is a mulberry tree. And I don't know if you can see that, but the mulberries are pretty ripe. And if you've never had a mulberry, I highly recommend them. They're pretty tasty. They're kind of like a blackberry. If you wait till they get real dark, like a blackberry, nice and sweet, but they don't have all the seeds like a blackberry does. So they're great fruit. They're not sold commercially because they get damaged pretty easily, but for a home garden, I highly recommend them. They're delicious, and because of all the rain, we've had quite a few fall on the ground here, and occasionally the chickens will come over and harvest them, whatever's on the ground. But I've tried throwing them a few today, and they don't seem that interested. And we'll start over here with the fruit. Did it a little different the last time I came out. So my blackberries, which I just planted this fall, I've actually got some blooms on there. I don't know what that is crawling on it, but these are a thornless variety of blackberry called a Primark Freedom. And typically blackberries don't fruit on the Primocanes, which are the first canes they put up, but this variety does. So I should get maybe just a few blackberries this year on the Primocanes. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm a little disappointed because they're pretty dinky. I planted these guys back in, I think, November, and they're still pretty tiny, so I don't know when they're gonna get bigger. I don't know if it's, maybe I don't have enough sun in this location, because they do get morning shade from this, and then they get some afternoon shade here. But this tree right here, it's kind of a trash tree, so probably at some point we'll take that out, and maybe they'll grow a little better, because we got afternoon shade from that tree right there. Maybe once we do that, these guys will grow up a little bigger. Over here we got the blueberries, and have several different varieties of blueberries, because you have to have at least 2 varieties so they can cross-pollinate and have good fruit production. And this plant right here that we're looking at, it was one of the first ones that bloomed, so it's an early variety, and it bloomed right before that big freeze that we had here in Texas. So as far as berries go, there aren't very many on here. They're just barely a few. But next year we should have some earlier berries because of that bush there. This next bush is pretty loaded with berries, and quite a few there. We have 8 blueberry bushes total. Looks like the chickens are probably helping themselves, so at some point we may end up having to kind of fence this off to keep the chickens out of it, because there's our rooster over there snacking on our blueberries. Darn you, rooster. Then we got our strawberries over here, and they're producing pretty well. Looks like I got a few that I need to get picked, and I'll do that after we get finished with our video here, because I got to have 2 hands in order to get that off of there. And then we got our trio apple tree, and we have a couple of apples here. Pretty excited about that. Hopefully they will survive the squirrels. And this limb right here actually bloomed out, but there's none of the other branches with the different varieties of apples are bloomed at the same time. So I don't know if any of these will actually fruit out. We'll see. Apple trees are another thing where you have to have at least 2 varieties in order for them to produce. So let's go on in. Like I said, we've had some pretty good rain, so the ground is still pretty soggy. On the plus side, I haven't hardly had to water. Well, I haven't had to water in about a week, so I'm not complaining about that. So we'll go through here, just kind of go through the cold bed at first. This right here is our these are sugar baby watermelons, and what they're going to do is they're going to go up and over this trellis here. And then next to this we've got our spinach, and as you can see, it's warm enough here in East Texas that it started going to seed. This is a Bloomsdale Longstanding, which it was supposed to not go to seed as quickly, but it actually went to seed quicker than this other variety right here, Merlot Nero. And I just saw a ladybug in here. He's going to show it to you, but it's gone. And I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, so this will probably be a pretty quick and... Oh, there it is. Oh, shoot. There it is. You see it? There's Ladybug. He's hiding. He or she is hiding. Yes, they're shy. So there's the Merlot Nero. Our carrots are looking pretty good. I don't really know when I should pick those. I guess I should look that up. And then this stuff that's flowering, this is the Yode Fall broccoli that I planted. I planted it late. I didn't get it started till February, and I was hoping maybe I might be able to harvest some before it went to seed, but it's just too hot. I mean, it's already up in the upper 70s here in East Texas, so it already went to seed. So I'll save that seed and plant some more of that. Back behind it there, that is the sugar snap peas, and they are loaded with peas, as you can see. And I love the flowers. They've just got this cute little, looks like a bonnet. So even if I didn't like the sugar snap peas, which they aren't my favorite, but I kind of like to pick them when they're kind of fresh like this because they're crisp and kind of sweet. And so they're doing really well. Don't know how much longer they'll go, again, because it's gotten pretty warm here. Down below the sugar snap peas is a kohlrabi. And you can't really see it at the base here, but on the base of this plant, see how it kind of has that roundish looking bulb there? So it is developing what it's supposed to develop there. And then the onions, they're kind of falling over. I don't know if it's just because my soil is so loose, but it's just kind of fallen over. But they look like they're growing, so I'm not going to complain about that. My spinach is starting to get pretty tall and leggy, and you probably can't see, but it's covered in aphids. So I need to get out here. I've tried spraying them off with a water hose because people said that works. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be working. They seem to just crawl right back up. And even with all the rain we got, they're covering these lettuce. But it's getting so hot. These things are going to bolt here pretty soon. It looks like those have already started kind of trying to bolt a little. So it's about time for the lettuce to be done anyway. So if you live here in East Texas and you want some lettuce, holler at me. I can get you hooked up. These aphids wash off real easy, and they don't cause any. I haven't noticed that they've really caused a lot of damage to the plants. And I've still got some romaine that looks pretty good. Next here, we've got our mustard greens. I think I've gotten 4 really good pickings off of these. I planted these for my mother-in-law because she's a big fan. And it looks like that we may be able to get one more small picking. But as you can see right here, it is starting to go to seed. Again, just getting too warm here in East Texas for these cold weather plants. Down below the mustard greens, these are some cantaloupe, and they will grow up and over this trellis here. And then over here, we've got loofah, and they'll grow up and over like that. And then we got pepper plants here. These are cream peas in these next 2 rows here. These are some seed that came from my husband's grandfather. These are Texas 21 cream peas. Now, the seed didn't come directly from him. They came from his uncle, who he passed them down to. And this variety is no longer available in stores, so this is something we'll have to save the seed on so that we can continue the family tradition of growing Texas 21 cream peas. Pretty cool, honestly, to have a little representation of Paul here on our little garden here in the middle of Lufkin. And then over here we've got some more peppers, and I don't remember what these are. I have them written down. We got some kind of critter climbing here on the squash. It's not a squash bug. I got a couple of eggplants back there. And then this along the back, those are Parisian pickling cucumbers, and they'll grow up this trellis eventually. I didn't plant a whole lot of these, so I probably won't have enough fruit to like can pickles, but I am going to try my hand at doing refrigerator pickles because I can pick them, put them in there, and then they just stay in the refrigerator and get pickly that way. And then all along the back here, we've got our tomatoes, and they are growing like crazy. I came out last weekend and kind of tied them up to the trellis. They are covered in blossoms, as you can tell. Probably need to come out here again and tie them again. I kind of trimmed the bottom off. You can't really tell because it's got a lot of vegetation down there, but I did trim it off and pulled out the suckers and stuff like that. So it's probably about time to come out and tie it up again and keep it cut down, because I want to keep it cut down because I'm growing them so close together. I want to keep it cut down to one main stem, so I'm going to have to stay on top of it a little better. And then we've got zucchini or squash. Again, I don't remember. I've got it written down. Oh, forgot to tell you this. These are like bell peppers, and then those with the red stems, those are red burgundy okra. That's some seed that my dad had given to me. And then we've got growing right here, what's going to come up this trellis right here is snake beans. And these things get several feet long, and that'll be pretty cool having those snake beans dangle off the trellis back there. I think that'd be pretty interesting. Got my asparagus back there. It's getting pretty tall and leggy. And from what I've heard, since it's a new planting, you just need to leave it there. So I've just kind of put it back there and left it alone. We planted originally 17 plants. I waited too long to plant them. 16 plants. I waited too long to plant them, and only about 9 of them have come up. But I think this will seed it, and we'll get more later on. Continuing along. On this side of the trellis, it's going to go up and over. This is a bushel basket gourd, and it'll grow up and over. And then I've got a little eggplant that looks like it's getting chewed on there. And then right here is a zucchini, and I've planted around that nasturtiums. They're supposed to keep squash vine borers at bay, so I planted those with the hope that maybe it'll work. These are my green beans that I planted several weeks ago, and it probably won't be too long before I start getting some flowers on them. Look at that. So we'll be harvesting green beans before too much longer. And I got a few more eggplants right there. And then down below these are jambalaya okra. I got the seed from Haas Tools. I think they're based out of Georgia. And then I've got some more green beans because I did some succession planting a couple weeks after I planted these. I planted some more green beans so that we can have some more green beans throughout the summer. And then I got an empty space there, and probably what I may do on that is just go ahead and plant some more green beans. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. That's the difficulty of having a brand new garden that's huge, is trying to figure out what am I going to put in everything. And then I got some more pepper plants there. And then those are some more of those millennial eggplants. Never grown those before, so it'll be interesting to see how they turn out. And then I planted, which hasn't come up, that's just some garbage there. I planted some spaghetti squash. It was supposed to grow up and over this trellis, but it hasn't come up yet. So I saved seed from my spaghetti squash plants from last year, but the squash vine borers got them. So I don't know if the fruit was 100% like ready to be picked and had good seed. So I think that's probably what's happened, is my seed just wasn't good enough. And then I got another squash and zucchini plant, and then there's some more nasturtium planted there at the bottom of it. And I got some more pepper plants here. I think that may be red bell pepper, if I'm remembering correctly. And then, of course, got more tomato plants across the back. I think, and I probably already told you this, but I have a 5-second memory. 2 seconds most of the time. I think we had like 40 some odd tomato plants that we put in the ground, and I started them all for seed. So I thought about selling them, but then it would be like, selling my kid, because, I raised this thing from a teeny tiny baby and just couldn't do it. Got another squash or zucchini here. And what I plan to do, I may just let this one go because I don't have anything planted here beside it or back behind it. So I may just let this one kind of spread out along the bottom here. But on my other ones, what I plan on doing is staking them and tying them up a stake. And then next to the squash or zucchini plant, that's poblano pepper. And it's got tons of fruit on it and flowers. And it's kind of fallen over here. So speaking of staking, probably need to come out and stake that bad boy as well. Then I got some more cream peas here. And then on the back there, beside the tomato, and that what will grow up the trellis eventually, is some Chinese noodle beans. So that'll grow up that trellis right there. And then we got some more pepper plants. I think those are yellow bell peppers. And then this is, right here against the fence, is a Trombosino zucchini. So it, again, will grow up and over this trellis. And I probably actually need to thin this down. I planted 4 plants, hoping I would get at least 2. And I think I've got 3 here. So I need to thin this down and take it down to just 2, because I don't want to have too much, get it crowded, and then have some problems because they're planted too close. What else we got here? I think that's the bulk of it. But that's kind of where we're at. It's petering out there in the cold weather bed. And then I don't know what I'll put there. I don't know if I'll just put a cover crop of something that I can plant to the chickens. I don't know. So I don't know. We'll figure it out at some point, but it probably won't be too much longer. Well, before the spinach is done, it's looking pretty toast right now. And then the greens, like I said, are going to seed, and it's not going to be very much longer before that those lettuce goes to seed as well. Oh, one more thing to show you. Almost forgot about this. This is some sugar cane. My son tasted sugar cane a few weeks ago, or I guess maybe last year sometime, or the year before, and just loved it. So he's been begging me to get some sugar cane. So I ordered some sugar cane off of Etsy, of all places, and they sent me 4 little things to put in here. One was already sprouted. This one in the front corner here, it sprouted maybe a week ago. And then I got 2 more, and they haven't sprouted yet. And it's been, I don't know how long it's been since we planted it, but it seems like it would have sprouted by now. But if it doesn't, we'll just have to be happy with the 2 sugar canes that we got. That is it for today. I guess we'll come back maybe in another week or 2 and kind of give you an update. Probably the next time you see this bed, it'll be mostly empty because everything is bolted and gone to seed, and we've pulled it out of there. So till then, you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for watching.